Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ssavid channel. My name is Ssavid and today we're going to learn how to Ssavid. So this video has actually been requested for quite a while now. The people seem to want to know how I make my music, which is completely fair enough actually, because I spend a lot of my time making videos on how other artists make their music and never really spend the time diving deep into how I actually construct a song of my own. So this video is actually perfect timing because I just dropped my newest single, Catch Me, so you should go and listen to that wherever you listen to your music. And today in this video, I am going to be breaking down that track. I'm going to be delving deep into all the little elements that go into that. So if you haven't listened to Catch Me yet, the link is in the description. Go and listen to that because we're about to be diving deep into Catch Me. We're going to learn. We're going to learn how to Ssavid.
Catch me if I scream, I hope you'll answer.
Right, headphones on. We're into FL Studio. This is where the magic happens, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully you guys have listened to the track a few times now and you'll realize that this isn't really EDM. I mean, it's not EDM at all. It's just not. I've still produced it in FL Studio because that's where I'm most comfortable as a producer. I mean, I've been on it for 5 years or so. I guess the genre of this track essentially would be maybe like indie rock or alt rock or pop rock, or I don't know what to call it. It's just something that I made. So yeah, we're running at 110 BPM, which is just the BPM that suits the song. And as you can see, we've got the full track. It's actually not too busy. A lot of it is recording, vocal, bass, guitar. I think I'm gonna break this down piece by piece. We'll go guitars, drums, etc. Just to dive as deep as we possibly can because we want to go deep, real deep. Alright, so number one place we want to start, we're going to start in the guitars. Obviously the first place to start is how we open the song, which is a little guitar riff that I came up with. So from memory, I'm pretty sure everything was recorded on my beautiful Fender Telecaster. Absolutely love this guitar. For those of you that play the guitar and are wondering what sort of tuning and setup I'm running, so I'm actually running into FL Studio with a lead, obviously. This is going into Amplitude 5, which is an amp sim plugin that I really like. You can see I've got a bunch of them on this recording channel. That's because I've used a bunch of different amps for a bunch of different guitars. This is tuned to Open C#. I have been in love with open tunings for a while now. They make playing very easy and it makes getting beautiful sounding guitar quite simple. I can play an open C# just by literally strumming nothing. This is the opening riff. It's super simple. So I've recorded that and I've doubled that, so I've got a left and right. Got a bit of chorus thrown on there and a bit of compression and some reverb, and then just EQ obviously just to clean it up. So I've called that the wavy guitar. That's sort of the guitar that's holding the whole song together. So that goes through, as you can see, the whole track. We've got that just playing the whole time. It sort of switches up in places, the chord progression changes. It doesn't really change much, so going through this verse, it's still playing the same loop. And then the only real other change is going to be for the chorus, the final chorus, when everything gets real loud and sort of swells up in energy. So second guitar is this grit guitar. Again, same chord progressions. We're just strumming along, giving it a little bit of energy in there, a little bit of grit. And then finally for the chorus, we're getting a lot more grittier. I think I used a different amp setting on this one just to get a bit more grit out of it and a bit more distortion. Last but not least, the final guitar that is in this is a distorted high guitar part. It just gives it a really nice edge in that big chorus section. It only comes in this chorus section with the high energy, but it really adds a nice little tone to it. So if you throw all those guitars together, we'll play it in the chorus section because that's where they're working in harmony. Get a nice, really full guitar sound. The final part of the guitars at the end, this is probably my favorite part of the song, honestly, is this end part. It's where we just go from B flat, G flat, C sharp, just to end the song. Just 1, 2, 3, all the chords together. Alright, next up I think we talk about the bass. This was recorded on this Squier Jaguar bass. I hadn't had it for that long and I was using synth basses up until I bought it, but I think it's a game changer. A real bass in a song like this it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. So again, I was running my bass through Amplitude 5. It's got a bass amp on here, so that's beautiful. This bass is obviously just there throughout the song. I'm just playing the notes, playing the chords essentially. We start off really high, sort of introducing the bass to the song. And then as we come into this verse section, it's just the classic bass line. And then of course the chorus section, obviously a bit more energetic and a bit more lively. In terms of processing on this, got a compressor, I've got OTT turned off, so that must not be in it, but this is compressing it quite heavily. And then EQ, I like to bring up the mids, the low mids, and then the high mids as well. The low mids is sort of filling that low mid frequency, obviously. Gives it sort of a bit of grunt to it, a bit of fullness. And then the high mid is where you can hear the sort of picking of the fingers, or in my case I used a pick, so it's sort of that picking sound, that just scratching sound. It sounds good and just gives the bass a bit of tone. So that's with it off, this is with it on. So if I play the bass line with the guitars, it's obviously going to give it a lot more fullness. That's what a bass is there for, to give it that full, thick, low end. Beefs everything up, makes it sound nice and full. Now the drums are, for me, the hardest part. I'm not a drummer myself. I have dabbled in a little bit of drums. I've played a little bit, but I don't have a drum kit. That's kind of a problem for a song like this. I wanted to have the drums sounding really natural. I wanted them to sound like they were recorded by a person and played by a person on a real drum kit. So I had to do some investigating. I had to do some searching for a synth drum kit or a sample drum kit that could do the job. So what I found was this free trial version of a kit. It's called the SSD Sampler 5. It's a nice kit. Honestly, it's a nice kit. So what I have done is duplicated the plugin into kick, snare, hats, toms, and cymbals to break everything up so I can put them into their own mixer signal. So writing drums using this method can be a bit of a process. I have to go into each individual channel, as you can see, the kick and then the snare, which is just over here. But once you've spent the time working on your drums, making your drums sound natural and realistic and groovy and suiting the song, the sample library is honestly, it's really good. I would love to have a drummer in here, but you know, the circumstances don't allow that. Essentially, I'm trying to be in a band and Mans has no friends, so he's got to do everything himself, and that is okay because we live in a wonderful world where you can download a drum kit and it will play the drums for you. So let's have a listen to the different sections of drums. We've got the intro, which is just a kick, some hats, and some sort of hitting. And then at the end of that, a bit of a fill into the verse section. So essentially all the hard work is getting it sounding natural, sounding authentic. In that final chorus, energetic chorus section, the drums go crazy. I don't know if this is even possible to play. Hopefully it is, that's what I was going for, but when I'm writing these drums, I have a sort of rule that you can't have more than 4 limbs. So obviously you've got the kick, which is 1 foot, you've got the stomp hat, which is another foot, and then you've got 2 hands. So essentially if I've programmed in a cymbal hit, a snare hit, and a tom hit at the same time, illegal. Mans doesn't have 3 hands. Maybe there's someone out there with a robotic hand or 3 hands or something that can do that, but not today, brother, not today. Alright, now we're going to go into the strings and atmosphere of this track. Obviously, you know me, if you've been watching this channel, I love to throw in atmospheric samples, and that is exactly what I've done on this track. So what we've got going on here is just an atmospheric guitar texture. Alright, in this verse section where the drums first come in, we have another little guitar sample. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of the song as well is these strings. So this is like a full orchestra setup. We've got a lab string section in here, and then we have another string section, which is just an FL Studio stock one. And then we have the brass section, which is again an FL Studio stock. So they're all just playing the same chord progression the whole way through. Nothing changes, and I think it sounds... Those strings are coming back in for the big chorus swell section as well. It just adds such nice fullness to the mix. Last but absolutely not least, it is the vocals. So as you can see, we've got my final vocal down here. We've got some doubles and some triples and even some like vocal effects down here, but I want you to take note of my vocal process because vocals take the longest for me. As you can see, there's many different takes here. So all of the vocals were recorded on my Rode NT1A condenser microphone. So this mic is pretty tidy. Would recommend if you're after a cheap condenser mic that will do the job. In terms of vocal processing, it takes a while to find the right processing, and every project is different. I've found you can't really just save a vocal effects chain and then slap it onto every vocal performance you're doing on every different song, because every different song requires something so different. So first of all, in my chain, I like to throw on a compressor.
If you don't, I lose my anchor.
As you can see, I'm absolutely smashing that vocal with compression. Then I've got a couple of DS's on. One is in this high frequency, and then the other one is on the high end frequency range. That's just taking a bit of harshness out of it. Then I have some chorus. This is mixed into 20%. Just a little bit of chorus, and that just gives it a little bit of width and a little bit of variation. And then last in this chain, we've got a EQ. We're cutting low end just to get those yuck frequencies out of there that we don't need. Just dipping some of the hertz down just to clean it up, essentially. On the vocal master, I'm just boosting some gain up there, adding a little bit of stereo. Then this is where I have my delay and my reverb, so all of the vocals that are in the track just go into this vocal master. So my process in recording is obviously to spend a lot of time writing lyrics, recording various takes. If we listen to this one here, it's gonna sound a little bit off because I'm not a great singer.
I think I know the answer. Catch me. If you don't, I'll lose my anchor.
So as you can hear, my voice when I sing it, natural take, it's a little bit flat. Don't always get up to those notes. So the tuning process I'm talking about is when I open up the audio recording, I go pitch correct sample, that brings it up in new tone. Essentially what I do is I just drag it onto the center so it's on tune, and then I play around with the variation. Now the variation is what is going to make it sound overly auto-tuned or not quite auto-tuned or not quite tuned enough. So as you can see, if it's on 100%, it's still quite squiggly on there. I usually go about anywhere from 20 to 30%. So after all that, I bounce it back out and it comes into the track and it sounded good.
Wishing on the world to bring you closer.
Alright guys, so we've made it to the end of the Catch Me breakdown, the how to Ssavid. I hope you guys have learned something from me today. This is obviously quite a different style of music compared to the music tutorials you used to be making. But I hope there's something you can take away from this and apply to your own music. This song has been a hugely personal project to me. I'm really proud of how it came out, so really appreciate it if you go over and give it a listen a few times. Catch Me is out everywhere, so you can go ahead and listen to the song wherever you listen to your music. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Go and listen to Catch Me. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Have a good one.